The story of Xbox is like the story of David and Goliath. If Goliath got back up, beat the holy crap out of David, and then teabagged on him just to prove a point. What I'm trying to say is I don't know why they call it Xbox anymore, because it's clear that Microsoft wants nothing to do with the actual box itself and is basically just going to go the way of Sega or Netflix or Sega Netflix or however they're going to work that. The 2025 announcements and rumors so far for Xbox show that Microsoft clearly doesn't really know what they want to do and is obviously chasing that crowd of gamers that's more passive than active. What do I mean by this? Well, in the past, we've seen a lot of gamers have arguments about PC Master Race versus PlayStation versus Xbox. We don't really talk about Nintendo. Nintendo's just over here, and every gamer that I know pretty much just accepts, nope, Nintendo's over there. We just let Nintendo be them. But it's really interesting to see where Microsoft is going and how quickly they have kind of done this change in 2024, or at least how quickly they've made these announcements. So for those of you who aren't caught up on what's going on, it has been recently announced in a bunch of different places that Xbox is absolutely going to be pushing for cloud gaming. And one of the biggest things that kind of threw me for a loop was this right here over on Xbox Wire, where they announced that Xbox and LG to bring cloud gaming to LG smart TVs. Now, this is not going to be for every model of LG TV, but what they have to say here is we're focusing on bringing more games to more people around the world on the devices you choose to play with. Millions of Game Pass Ultimate members are already using Xbox Cloud Gaming Beta to play great games from the Game Pass catalog on various devices. Today, we're excited to announce our collaboration with LG Electronics to bring the Xbox app to their new LG TVs or LG Smart TVs later this year. This means that Game Pass Ultimate members will be able to play their games directly from Xbox on supported LG Smart TVs via the Xbox Cloud Gaming. This gives players even more choice in how they enjoy their favorite games. Now, this here is what I'm talking about. Leading into the passive gamers. Obviously, there are gamers out there who just genuinely enjoy this as a hobby and they think it's fun. But what I'm seeing now is that gaming is kind of going the way of, Netflix and watching television. It's that passive thing that people are going to do at the end of their day, and they basically just want to turn it into the next thing that people, just everybody has access to. Which more access to things, from what I've noticed and from what I've seen in various different industries, has kind of led to a degrade in quality. I mean, going back to the Napster days, look at what that did. Look at what streaming did to the music industry. Radically reduced the amount of money that certain musicians could get, and honestly, ultimately turned it into just one of the worst things. We don't really see a lot of creativity in music anymore. We just see a lot of the same old coming out every single year, and it just kind of preys on the psychological aspects of human beings to get people to continue to listen. It's really interesting to see how Netflix came out. They revolutionized everything. It was streaming. It was all there. Oh my gosh, everybody could license out their stuff to Netflix. But once everybody decided to do their own streaming platform, all of a sudden people were like, wait a minute. This is ridiculous. And now you're actually seeing a streaming bubble burst if you've been keeping up with a lot of the tech news. I think Xbox is setting this trend because they see it coming and they want to get ahead of it. Ultimately, what this looks like to me, though, is that if Xbox is going to do their own Game Pass version that's on LG TVs and all these different platforms, PlayStation and Sony might want to do that later, and then all of a sudden Nintendo might follow suit, and then all of a sudden we're just going to end up paying for all these different gaming services, and the bubble is eventually going to burst. In fact, I think because a lot of people are already cutting, we can't say cutting the cord anymore, but cutting the spending with the streaming services that are out there and the many streaming services that are out there, and going back to things like Pluto TV and stuff like that, I think the downfall of this method of gaming is probably going to come a lot quicker. Now, obviously, Microsoft wants to chase what mobile gaming has been doing for, over a decade at this point, and making sure that they can get those dollars there. And I think that they're trying to sneak in this way by basically saying you're going to be able to play Xbox everywhere. Well, what do we mean by everywhere? Well, it's also being reported as well that we're going to start seeing Xbox games on the PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2025. So over here from Video Game Chronicles from VGC, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and the Halo Master Chief Collection are both coming to Nintendo Switch and PS5. It's been claimed. Okay, it's been claimed. So this falls into the rumor category. According to Nate the Hate, a podcaster with a history of correctly reporting on unreleased video games, both games are planned for the system as Microsoft plans to heavily support Nintendo Switch 2. This kind of leads to a major thing in the gaming world. I mean, the Master Chief is the mascot of Xbox. I mean, it's why he's sitting back here. Actually, Master Chief is sitting right here because my daughter bought this for me for Christmas one year because she knew that I was a fan of Halo and bought that for me. But I still play on an Elite controller. I've played an Xbox my whole life because, well, games are expensive, consoles are expensive, and I played what I had growing up. And so the Xbox being really my first premium console that I got when I was a kid was one of those things that kind of makes it near and dear to my heart. But now I see that it's just lost its identity. Xbox no longer wants to be the box anymore. In fact, I don't know why they call it the Xbox. They call it xCloud Gaming, which I don't know if there's stuff there between them and Elon Musk and whatever, if there's licensing that they would have to do to call it xCloud Gaming, but is it really Xbox anymore? And I think that's a lot of the question that so many people are asking. Are we dealing with the Xbox anymore? Or is Microsoft just going to keep the brand name and they're going to continue the way that Sega is, and they're basically just going to be a glorified publisher? I mean, it's obvious that the console wars are going away because the fact of the matter is PC prices are coming down. Most kids these days want PCs to play their games on. In fact, I know that my kids do. Why? Because a lot of the people that they check out who are streaming various different games online are streaming them from a PC. So to my kids, the coolest, craziest thing isn't really the console anymore, it's the PC. Now, we do have consoles in the house and the kids do play on those consoles, but the fact of the matter is they're not asking for a PlayStation 5. They're not asking for all the stuff. They are asking for VR, which is interesting. I tell them VR is just a scam because I don't know. I don't like VR. That's just where I stand, though. I've tried it a few times. It's not my jam. But to see that Microsoft is just willing to, I don't know, sell out their mascot, the Xbox mascot. After the announcement this year that 343 was no longer going to be 343 Studios, they're going to be Halo Studios. And now Halo Studios is going to be designing games that are compatible with the PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch. I mean, why wouldn't they, right? Master Chief is no longer the face of Xbox. He's just some random character in a video game now. You know, can you imagine Nintendo licensing out Mario to the PlayStation or to Xbox, gaming cloud, whatever? No, you couldn't, because Nintendo wants their mascot to stay there. I mean, Sony doesn't really have a whole lot of mascots anymore because they keep trying to push Aloy as their newest mascot, which I don't know. I know people who played the first game. I don't know a lot of people that played the second game, and I can't see why they're pushing that. But really, we're getting to a point here where if games are just going to be everywhere, there's not really, and I've never really seen a point to be a fan of the PlayStation or Xbox, at least not for a while. When I was a kid, absolutely. I got wrapped up in the console war stuff like everybody else did. But overall, the actual companies themselves, the consoles themselves, that thing that we remember from when we were all kids, that's gone, and that's been long gone. And the console wars, there's not really a point to have any sort of fidelity towards any of these companies at this point. Why would you on God's green earth be loyal to this company, be a fan of Xbox, be a fan of PlayStation, when just in a year or two it's going to be on PC anyway? And a lot of people say, well, I could just have I could get my gaming consoles because they're so much better because I could put them in my living room and play them on my TV. And I don't know if you know this, but you can do that with computers as well. I know people who actually do that. They, hook up their computers to their living room televisions and they play games on a 65-inch while sitting comfy and cozy in their recliners. And for a lot of people, they kind of look at that and think, well, I would never do that. Well, yeah, some people do. That's just how it is. Overall, it's really interesting to see the journey of Xbox, and these rumors are insane. What is Microsoft thinking? Why still have the brand around? And honestly, it's probably because they just own it and it's easier to do it. Xbox is dead. It's no longer Xbox anymore. It's X streaming, X cloud gaming. But to sit here and think about how the Xbox came out dominated when it was brand new, the marketing behind it, Halo, that powerhouse machine that revolutionized online gaming, those days are definitely over. And Xbox is no longer a trend setter, they're a trend chaser, and they are willing to hoe out all of their IPs to other companies because, well, they've obviously been making financial mistakes. Because the only reason that you hoe out your IPs to other places is because you need money. So that's pretty much my thoughts on all of this. I don't understand. What do you guys think about this? What do you are there any Xbox fans out there anymore? Do people are there console fans out there anymore? Are people fans of consoles, or does nobody really care? It's just like, oh, I'm fans of games and game studios and you know what those game studios bring, but as far as the actual brand or the console that we play on, does that matter? I mean, maybe Nintendo still would have fans because Nintendo, again, locks their IPs down and they're not willing to hoe them out for a cheap buck. And that's worked very well for them. You know, it's kind of interesting when you talk about all this console stuff and what Microsoft is doing. Not only that, but Microsoft must be doing so well lately. They just announced more layoffs. But that's a topic for a different time. We'll see how that comes in. But yes, Microsoft did announce more layoffs for 2025. They're going to become a lean, mean production machine from what I've seen. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think about all of this. This video is dropping just a few hours before the Path of Exile 2 patch notes update. I will be doing a video on that, so you'll probably see that video before you see this video. But go and check out my Path of Exile 2 reviews and see what you guys think, because I'm brand new to ARPGs, and it would be really awesome if you guys would take the time to see what a brand new player to ARPGs thinks of Path of Exile 2. Both my review for the campaign and for the end game. They were very, very different, and honestly, I'm having a blast with it. So more of that content coming soon. And as always, thank you all so much for checking out the channel. And until next time, cheers, everybody.